Hi, everyone. How's it going today? I just want to make sure that everyone can see my screen and if you have any questions and you can hear me. So if somebody wants to type into the questions from audience window just to make sure that we're good to go, I just want to check that. And then we'll start the presentation. What we're going to do today is go into how to use a keyword strategy for Google completely free. This is mostly applicable also to Yahoo and Bing. Of course, they have their own search keyword search tools, but we'll cover a tiny bit of that, and the principle stands for all of the different ones. So if I hear no objections, that everyone can hear me fine, what I'm going to do is start. It's going to be a mix of slides and then a demo and then some more slides to give you context. So we're going to give you a demo today. So to begin, this is how to market for Google so your ideal customers find you. I like to call this, you know nothing, Jon Snow, to quote Game of Thrones, because I work mostly in the tech space and marketing, and people get obsessed with their terms and their niche. But people don't care. No one cares. Google cares. What people are searching for matters, not what you think people know. People tend to get caught up in their technological speaking, and then they don't find they have customers because their customers aren't understanding them and they're not talking to their customers, which comes down to also they're not talking to how their customers are searching. So just to give a quick overview, SEO or search engine optimization is what you're doing to write for Google. And it's both the content on the front end and then things you do on the back end. We're only going to work on the content today. I'm atechnical, so don't worry about that. But there are ways that you can set up your website to make sure it has the technical back end too. And the goal is to improve how much you show up in search results. And then, of course, you're driving more traffic to websites. If we go through the slides too fast, the slides are already on my SlideShare, and you'll have the link at the end of the call so you know what's happening. So what is a keyword? It's a word that is the key and trick to Google. So it's an exact word or phrase that allows search engines and people to find you. It's something you want to use across your entire website so you can make sure that people find you and you rank for those words. A keyword tool is something that actually helps you find out what those keywords are. And it then often lets you compare them, figure out how much search volume they show up, and competition. What we're not talking about a lot, but what you can do, but takes a lot more time, is to not use a keyword tool and just Google things and learn from there. But here we go. These are the main keyword tools. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Some are to pay, some are not. I've used the trial for Market Samurai and was very happy with it, but didn't pay. You'll learn that's the theme. I use Moz. You have to log in, otherwise you only get one. You can get up to 4 websites a day that you can do some searches on, but it doesn't give you everything. And then the 2 biggest in the area are Google Keyword Planner and SEMrush. There are tools specifically for Bing and Yahoo, but like I said, Google is the magical wizard of the internet, so we're going to focus on Google, but you definitely should use Bing Ads if you're going to use Bing. I know a lot of companies that have a lot of success with both Bing campaigns, especially if they're somehow related to Microsoft, and to Bing advertising and like the Bing version of AdWords, so that can't hurt. And SEMrush and Google are the biggest. They're both great. SEMrush is not completely free. Google Keyword Planner is technically built for AdWords. So it's not technically built for an SEO tool, but since Google is the SEO, you can use it for that. And that's what I use because it's free. SEMrush is also fantastic. So we're going to talk about Google Keyword Planner today. It's .com, .co.uk, whatever it is for you. It lets you search for keywords, ad groups, keyword groups. For advertising is the purpose, but that doesn't matter because you never have to advertise. You never have to spend any money. It lets you know how valuable your keywords are. So the first time you join a Keyword Planner, it makes you create a whole AdWords account. It makes you create a campaign, and it makes you add a credit card. don't worry, you're never going to update it. When we go through the demo later, you'll see that it's constantly notifying me in the corner, but who cares? It doesn't bother me. It's free. That I need to update my credit card because that expired months or years ago. The important thing is once you go through the process of creating it, it doesn't matter what you put in the campaign, but you want to pause it. If you're already running an AdWords campaign, you don't even have to do this. This is just registering with AdWords for the first time, but you just want to make sure you hit that pause button immediately so you don't get charged for anything. You're not running any real campaign. It doesn't matter once you're in. It does take time, so that's the first. But so what is a long tail keyword? This is super important because a long-term keyword is an exact keyword, a phrase of 2 or more words. It ranks so much higher than a singular word, which makes sense because a long tail keyword gives context. So you're going to see throughout, cheese is the easiest example I can use for screenshots. I use habitually because I love cheese. There are kinds of cheese. So just searching for cheese isn't very specific if I'm a goat farmer. I need people to find goat cheese and things like that, or gourmet cheese, or cow cheese, or whatever it may be, or Spanish cheese. So a long tail keyword is what you want to bet on. You don't usually or almost never want to try to rank on a singular word. Search volume. I liked this one because the volume of the troll hair. I got creative with photos. How many searches for the exact phrase in a given time? Google sets it as the default at 12 months. This is good for things that you're always going to use. You're always going to want to rank for it. Still, everything we're doing, you want to review maybe once a year. But if you're talking about something new, like one of my areas is the Internet of Things, that's still a really new topic. I would recommend that you go ahead and set that for 3 months instead, and I'll teach you how to do that. You want to do it for new, or also say something happens, maybe you work in the blogosphere and something happened Lindsay Lohan. Maybe you want to take it all the way down to 1 month or something. So it all depends on your needs, but usually 12 months is a good guarantee. It also changes what the volume will be, of course, because if you're doing a month, the relative volume is different from 12 months, and everything's relative by that. It also gives you your keyword competition. It actually gives you the average price estimated that it costs to put money towards that keyword. This is great if you do want to do an AdWords campaign, but also for very expensive words, and this is really true in especially the software industry and the fitness industry. These words are insanely expensive. Unless you are Google or a Fortune 500 company, you don't have the AdWords budget for it anyway. But you can also use SEO as a free strategy because it helps you prioritize of which words. You can usually never compete against a high word if you're not spending money. Now, and again, this is all relative. Something in the software space might be extremely expensive. Something in the farming space may have high competition words, but they'll be less than $1. So maybe you'll consider using them anyway. You might definitely consider them for AdWords depending on how much customer acquisition cost you get out of those AdWords. So to get started, we're going to go through this in a live demo as well, but you have your keyword idea. Where you're targeting. Again, when you hit your different locations, this factors into how relative it is. If I was just targeting London versus the world, it would be a much smaller group of people, and that's fine. But then everything I do, I want to target for London, which means I would use behavior spelled with a U. And if I was doing something about colors, I would spell color with a U. You want to do however Google tells you and to target it. Actually, interestingly enough, customer behavior is spelled like British, even in American. Even if you're targeting American, that ranks higher. So while you're taught in school, you should go either British or American. You go with what Google says instead. You set the language you're targeting. You can also set multiple languages, but obviously it's usually easier to search just at one language at a time. Also because you would do full pages. I do not believe in exact translation. First, we all assume, SEMrush agrees with this, that eventually Google will notice exact translation and pick that up as duplicate content and punish us. Hasn't happened yet. Google's translator is not great either, but it could happen. So you want to make sure that you're translating more for SEO quality keywords and meaning behind it, because that's just better than using exact translations. So you probably would want to do languages completely separate anyway. You can just leave negative keywords in there. Negative keywords just means like if there's in there or not this, things like that, they always can come up interestingly. And then as we talked about the date range, unless it's some sort of trending topic or something really big and exciting and brand new. What happens is it gives you the keyword ideas. This is new. It just changed it a couple months ago. The keyword ideas isn't my favorite thing. It's a good way to get some ideas, but I am definitely much more interested in the ad group ideas. And then I click on and go inside the ad groups. That helps me focus more on the specific areas I'm going to. So you usually want to go for what I call the low-hanging fruit. High volume, low competition keywords. Again, everything's relative. So it lets you know how much your keyword will cost. SEO can be a free strategy, but you never know. You just can't afford it, anything like that. Okay, so we're going to go into the demo now. If everyone can see my screen okay, I'm just going to check on y'all and make sure if there's any questions. So I got some bad feedback. I hope it's okay and good to go now. Seeing if there's any more questions before I continue on for it. So you've logged in, you've set up, I'm not going to go through the process of setting up your AdWords account. Like I said, it's kind of a fuss, but once you do it, it's done. Yeah, I even have that little notification there already. I've had that notification for maybe a year. It's no big deal. Okay, so you go in here and all you do is click on this part, search for keywords using phrase, website, or category. This is only the first time you're going to use it. So again, I like to use cheese as an example. Actually, I'll use an example that I get a lot that proves, in my industry, proves that people don't know what they're talking about. Scrum. Scrum is a framework or methodology or whatever you want for workplace organization. So I want to do for the whole world. For example, one of my clients is Management 3.0. It is an agile management and management training company. And we've got people in like 80 different countries. So we want to hit all countries. While we translate into Portuguese and stuff, the Portuguese translator is in charge of getting his own Portuguese keywords. We're all good to go. Yeah, 12 months fine. Scrum's been around for a while, so we'll see. So it pulls up. The thing I get all the time is that Scrum is a framework. And that's because scrum.org, yes, that's the actual beautiful URL, which is great for SEO, scrum.org, invented it. And then there's also Scrum Alliance. So they themselves have called it a Scrum framework. They have a website URL or both URLs that include the word Scrum to it. And they invented it, and they're the first websites to talk about it probably. Therefore, they're always going to win. So if they're calling it a framework, and that's what they're saying you're supposed to call it, okay, cool. But nobody's searching for it. So get off your high horse and accept that it is not a framework. Because look, it's a methodology, Scrum methodology. Okay, that's interesting. That's low. It's not, because Scrum is somewhere in the software space, I would say this is still a low price. Software can be like $25, $30 or euros, a suggested bid. These are the suggested bids if you were to go in AdWords. But this also gives you an idea of how expensive it is. So the relationship between the competition, usually you want to go low. Because this isn't that bad, because it's in the software space, agile project management usually, and because there's so many searches per month, this is the average monthly search. Obviously, it's average, so if you did just 1 month, it could be very different. Maybe it's not popular anymore. Maybe it's not popular, and that's why it gets searched more, or maybe it's popular. So that's why we changed the average date. So I'm going to want to use Agile Project Management in there, but I would say by just looking at these, if I can make Agile Scrum make sense in the exact keyword phrase in this order, no other order, sometimes the is in front of them, other things, I'm going to use this. I'm going to try to find a way. I think Agile Scrum is going to take some creativity, but I can definitely use it in a URL like Management 3.0, management30.com/agile-scrum. So I could definitely use it that way, but it's probably not going to be my first choice just because it's awkward and doesn't make sense. But Agile project management makes sense, and Agile methodology certainly makes sense because it's low and money. Sometimes, though, even though it's low, you're going to see that it costs a lot of money, which maybe doesn't make sense. I'm not seeing a lot of examples here right now of that, but you'll know by then, you'll be able to suggest, you'll be able to understand that. And again, in certain industries, like any type of weight loss, any type of gambling, online dating, and software, they cost way more. And honestly, I think in those industries, even though I work a lot in the software industry, you have to go for that low-hanging fruit because you can't compete with these enormous companies on the AdWords campaigns. So now if you go to ad group ideas, which I like, see, they call it ideas, which is good because it does give you ideas. And then as I collect these, I literally just throw them into a spreadsheet, or I don't even have Excel. I use Google Sheets. And then I highlight or star or whatever I can to make up things look better. So these are groups. So some of these might make sense. See, my company or the company I work for is a coaching company. So tools don't make sense for us. Also, tools tend to be more expensive. So I'm going to skip that. I'm scanning these. Scrum board, again, we don't provide a Scrum board. We're not an online, we're an in-person thing so far. So I look at these and I see, okay, management agile, that's not exactly what I'm trying to target, and it's a little high end. But again, we already found out agile project management is definitely something I want to mention on the website, but maybe not put in. But I'm like, I'm going to click on Scrum methodology because it was very high. And then it goes here. I would suggest scrolling all the way down. This one isn't a great example, and hitting 100 usually. So you get all the search results at once. You can do that for the other ones as well, as we'll show you. So they usually go, I hit it by average monthly searches. You can organize it that way. If it's something that's a really high competition, it might make it easier for you to do competition and sort by that. You just click on them and it resorts like a spreadsheet. So obviously, I want a website that says Scrum methodology. I don't care what all these Scrum masters are saying to me that it's a Scrum framework. Clearly, have we seen it yet? No one's searching for it. So it just doesn't make sense for me to use. And that's the truth of the matter. So we get stuck in our jargon and our industry terms a lot, but our audience isn't looking for it. So we have to skip it. Another reason to go and hit 100, especially in the ad group ideas, is, and this is very interesting, because the keywords like. This is something, there might be 1, 2, or 3 of these sections on the keywords like, and you go here, and it gives you other ideas. Of course, Scrum is low, it's a good price, it's average monthly searches, but I'm going to naturally have the word Scrum if I'm writing Scrum methodology, Scrum Agile on my website. So I kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I don't feel the need to waste on just a single keyword like Scrum, because again, something like scrum.org is always going to do better. A lot of times when you're in marketing, you maybe don't know a lot about your topic, which is great because we get to learn every day. We get to interview people, we get to learn, but then, oh, what if I didn't know about Scrum? Oh, look at this word, Ken Schwaber. Who's that? So that's another good way to get ideas. I would Google Ken Schwaber. No, he's one of the founders of Scrum, I think. And then quote him in the article or on the website and put a quote by him, a short quote, so Google doesn't think, oh, there's duplicate content, you're stealing from somewhere else. Make it clear in quotes that it's cited, and then put his name in there because that helps everything. So that's how you get these things. That's how you get these different words. There's different things that might work here and are related, like, oh, product owner. And then sometimes this will lead to other ideas. So like with this, I know I have a client that works in Scrum or something, but oh, look, there's something called Kanban, and then there's testing, and then there's agile. So these are all related words that either could be for one page that will go through how to use these keywords, or it could be a situation where you're finding new customers. So through this research, I've created for Management 3.0, I've created, look, already here, one of the keywords, employee engagement in the setup. So I've created landing pages for most of our target audiences. And then you go here and look, there's an Agile Project Manager and there's a Scrum Master. Because those were so high ranking, I decided, okay, I need to do that. And Project Manager, which an Agile Project Manager is a project manager, but they're different groups of keywords. And each keyword is focused on that way. So Agile Project Management, I hope you guys can see up here because the thing keeps popping up. Look, Agile Project Management skills. And about, so it understands the organization of the website. Then you see here, bolded, IT project management, Agile project management. Jürgen Appelo, who's the founder of this method that we're doing, team collaboration, things like that. And look, change management and employee engagement. While this landing page is ranking for alternative to waterfall and Agile project management, these are the terms I want for the entire website to rank. So that changes everything. And based on my research, I decided what are the two most important, more general topics, because we are not just for Agile, we are not just for Scrum, but for these more general topics, I decided, okay, we want to rank for change management and employee engagement. So if someone's searching that, we of course will automatically rank for management 3.0 because that's our need. Otherwise, we're not, something's broken in our SEO completely. And usually at that point, you need a technical expert because it's something on the back end that's broken. If you don't show up in the first or second, maybe if you have a Wikipedia page, it can show up first. But other than that, your landing page should show up first or second behind a Wikipedia page. So now I'm going to go back to the session, see if we have any questions first. No questions. You can absolutely have questions. Obviously, I'll pop back in and out because I don't know when you have questions, so I'll keep popping in and I hope you can give questions. I see feedback from audience. Oh, that's nice, I guess. Please tell me how I can improve that for you. And now I'm going to jump back on the slideshow and to show you what to do. So you've worked hard. It takes some time. There's no doubt it takes an hour or two, but it's also something the research side, you can train an intern to do. My intern was doing most of my SEO research and she was not a native English speaker, but she spoke English well enough because I was living in Spain. She spoke English well enough that she could do this because it is a formula, it's math, and it's just basically understanding certain things and enough of the language to make sense of it. But it's definitely something that anyone can do quite easily. It takes time. Eventually you'll be able to do it while watching TV or something when you're home. So now that you have the list, what are you going to do with it? You use them to rank in Google, and you use them to attract the right visitors to your website. So you want to, like we talked about, you want to pick 2 to 3 long tail keywords that you want your entire website to rank for. Not just one page, as I wrote here, sorry, but your entire website. Do you want to use these exact keyword phrases? I can't stress. Even, for example, another client I have is Happy Melly. One of the things we want to rank for is work-life balance tips. But as a writer, it drives me nuts, but I would want to do work-life balance tips because it should be hyphenated. Work-life is an adjective in that instance. But no one types hyphens into Google. So the best way to do it is to do work space life space balance space tips. So we rank for these topics. So then for these specific ones that we want to rank for those, like with Management 3.0, we want to rank for employee engagement and change management. So I want to make sure these exact phrases fall on pretty much, as long as it's appropriate and not out of line, every single page on the website, somewhere in the discussion, because people are only looking at probably 2 pages on your website at a time. So they're not going to see this repetition, and it doesn't have to be excessive. You just need to mention it somewhere on those pages. You add it as meta tags on every landing page. You add it in the meta description. I'll pop into, I have a WordPress open of one of my clients, and I'll pop in to just show you where they are. Most websites are WordPress. It's a little different if you're doing Squarespace, but if you're doing Squarespace, you probably know websites already. WordPress is for those of us that aren't into designing as much. And it's somewhere else. Sometimes they'll be called SEO tags. Sometimes they'll be called SEO description. It's all the same thing. Your meta description is 160 characters or less. That should pop up when someone Googles and your website page pops up. Sometimes Google doesn't allow that to happen, but that's okay too. So you can only control so much, but it usually pops up, and it's a strong indicator for SEO. You also want to make sure your meta description is less than 160 characters. There's also ways to give an SEO title. So New York Times does this a lot. New York Times does, for people that read the physical newspaper or are already on the website, it'll do this enigmatic, cool headline. But then when you're actually Googling or Google News you're searching, it will show up as a completely SEO headline that means something. So that's them choosing to give an SEO title or a headline, depending on which system you're using. It's called different things. And then to use their fun creative one internally. So that's something you can do. You can also consider having these as blog categories. With Happy Melly, there is a landing page that's happymeli.com/work-balance-tips or work-life balance tips. There is also a category work-life balance tips. And then every time I tag, anytime there's something involved with work-life balance, which when you're trying to be happy at work, most of it falls under that, I'm also going to put a tag there. My boss is obsessed with the idea of work-life fusion, which is great, but no one's searching for work-life fusion tips. They're searching for work-life balances. And then we'll get into backlinks a little later. What about the rest of the keywords? You just got maybe 50 to 100 keywords. Well, you want to prioritize them, but then you want to create specific landing pages and blog posts on those keywords. Obviously, Google likes landing pages, so you really could do 100 landing pages if they're organized properly on your site with categories and they're interlinked well and people can understand it well. So you can definitely do that, but prioritize again based on which keywords are the most important for you. So if you see here, these are the different ways you can write a URL to then get the best for that. And I said I like cheese, so goat cheese. You could then categorize it under the topic of gourmet cheese and then go into goat cheese. Google will like that. Google will understand it's a website about cheese and it's a website that's categorizing the cheese, and then maybe it goes into like a certain kind of goat cheese after that. These are short URLs with the keywords, and they're put in an order Google understands. You can do /blog/goat cheese or /blog/ the category name gourmet cheese /goat cheese. These are fine. They're not as good, but it's fine, especially if you're going to have a lot of blog posts. You're going to blog a couple times a day or something. You might want /blog/ the URL or /blog/ the category /URL. And then there's the subdomain. Okay, I see a lot of companies doing this for their knowledge base, which is because there's such large knowledge bases, they want it on a separate server, which is fine. But especially a knowledge base is typically unique content and a lot of content. Google likes long form content. Google likes when your website's well organized, and it just likes when you have direct URLs, not subdomains. So that's something to consider. But sometimes you're restricted by your web designer, so just know that. But make sure that when you're using the keywords, you use the hyphens. Google reads hyphens just the same as we would read spaces. So, and it translates that, so it understands that. So make sure that your landing page focuses on the keyword, related keywords, have the keyword exactly in the title, have it in subtitles if it works. You can do little countdowns like for work-life balance tip again, work-life balance tip number 1, work-life balance tip number 2. Everything we're doing now with Google is more and more for the reader. So don't think you can just do just a page with every word. 4 or 5 years ago, you could. And there were, especially because the .org or .edu website was great, there would be university students that would sell a .edu landing page that their university didn't know that just had the keywords and then a link back to a company. They know that now. It's getting smarter and smarter every day. And then bold the first mention of exact keyword phrasing. Google's built for mobile. You can test how mobile friendly it is, and that is something more and more that is done, but that's more on a technical side. But also everything in content Google's doing is about mobile as well. So Google scans your content like if you were in the metro, like listening to a busker playing music, and then you're looking at your phone, you're not paying much, your time on page will be very short. So you want to be able to scan the page very quickly to understand what it is. So like we said, bold the keywords, especially both your cross-site 2 or 3 keywords that you're using across the site, and then the keyword that you're using or keywords that you're using to rank on a page. Bold it the first time, so Google knows right away what it's going for. Use the different headlines. Use bullets and numbered lists. Use pop-out quotes. Make sure photos are sized well for your website, and you're not putting giant things that will then take forever to load, because again, it's mobile and friendly. And then something else, and this is something that I found had a lot of success with the majority of my clients. The sources of traffic, number 1 is of course Google, and number 2 is Google Images. Usually 3 and 4 are like different social media, things like that, or maybe a link, maybe another backlink that we'll get to. But Google Images is often number 2. People are searching Google Images, and also when you just do a regular search, the top images pop up very far at the top. So I recommend that you download your image before, which you're going to anyway, and save to your desktop or whatever, and then save it as the keyword first, again with the dash. Because yes, everybody talks about alt tags, but then you have it already. And I use this as an example because this was a super random photo. Yes, Google has an image search now, so Google is starting to understand photos, but it's not there yet. So if I saved it as Google-images-SEO.jpg or whatever it is, and then I upload it, Google will show that up. And guess what? It's random, it has nothing to do with SEO. So people will probably click on it anyway. But so far, Google doesn't know. But Google knows what it's saved as. And also that's good because if people are using pictures from your website, then it'll be saved as the proper term too. This is the other thing that people do, and that's very good, is backlink strategy. And this is something that's dramatically changed in the last couple of years. Actually, one of my first clients and good friends, PandaDoc, I wrote an article for Entrepreneur Magazine about this, how to get off Google's naughty list. Because back in the day, the strategy was just you need any backlink. And then also because of that, there's black hat SEO, which means you're giving people bad backlinks. So we had about 6,000 links we had to disavow and explain to Google, hey, they're not ours. And a lot of them were porn. Because back in the day, 4 or 5 years ago, when Google first started recognizing backlinks, it was just the number of backlinks you had. And a backlink's a link to your website on another web page. So it was fine when it was porn before, because porn were really high traffic websites, and great. But then that has nothing to do with email signatures or electronic signatures, which is what that startup's about. So they had to then get rid of it. So now Google recognizes that you can't just have crappy backlinks. You need to have the right ones. So Google recognizes backlinks that are better than yours and also that are related on the topic very much. It also helps Google understand what your page is about based on the relatedness to other pages on the website. There's a couple tools that let you know if you can use Google PageRank, you can use Moz, which again is sometimes free. You can get Alexa add-in. I usually use Alexa. Alexa's kind of like golf. The lower the score, the better, but I would say it's not exactly exact after 100,000. So if you have a website that's under 100,000, if you have a website that wants to link to you that's under 50,000, you sure want to be on that website. The lower the better. So that's really good. So you want to keep it on. This is a way to compare and get an idea if it's a good website or not. But also you can use your instincts. Some websites just look terrible, and that's the truth. So this is where I see the biggest mistake happening all the time in SEO is that you just link back to your company name. So with Happy Melly, I would just have a hyperlink to happymelly.com that says Happy Melly. That's not great. Yes, sometimes you want your homepage to rank, but it's going to rank anyway. Ooh, typo, excuse me for that. Getting a backlink on a specific topic, link back to that specific landing page. That's why we went to it. So that page ranks. Also there's something called anchor text, which is where you don't just link to the company name, but you link to a website, your website based on a specific keyword phrases. This is also really important for internal linking. As Google tries to understand the organization of your website, you want to do a lot of internal links, and using those keywords let it rank and let you and it understands how the different web pages or landing pages on your website relate to each other. So, and then this is something really cool is YouTube's owned by Google. Use that. If you're posting a YouTube video, always have a backlink to your website. I would say have the backlinks about the specific topic. And if you have a blog post on that topic, and then even better, if you want to do super juice, you embed that video into the website. Granted, if YouTube video view counts so much for you, you don't want to do that. You want to drive traffic to YouTube, but then you're driving traffic away from you, because when you're embedded, your YouTube video counts do not count. Views do not count. But so the best juice is to have a specific topic, like using the example from before. If I have a video about Mansion 3.0 for Scrum methodology, and I have a blog post or a landing page about that, I want to make sure that that landing page has that video embedded in it. And I want to make sure that then that link from that blog post is in the video, and you have to use the full HTTP : Also drives traffic to your website, so it's a good traffic source. So that's all I've got for y'all today. This is basically just your very beginning of your SEO stuff. So I'm going to see if there's any questions. So far, I see no questions. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer any questions about people that have worked before. So yeah. Anybody? I'm just going to wait a couple minutes more. Again, on my screen, you'll see if you go to slideshare.net/ebrandingninja, you're going to get this. I do this as a habit. I upload all slides from any talk I did to SlideShare. One of the good things is you can update it too, because as we saw, I misspelled keywords somewhere. Shame on me as a writer. But I can update that. But what's also good is I can drive traffic to my website, which for me isn't that big of a deal because it's a .ninja, so it's never going to get great SEO, and it's just a contact form. But for other people, SlideShare is another great way for a backlink because it's owned by LinkedIn. So it's a really top website. So if we went here and let's see, SlideShare, and I use my Outlinked add-on, I think I see SlideShare is like 12th in the world in types of websites. So that's how that works, and you want to do that as much as possible. It does take time. So when I say free, it's not free on time, but it's free in general. So yeah, people asked if there's a slide pack. You will, if you go to this website, if you go to slideshare.com/ebrandingninja, you'll find it there. I'm going to update it right now after I fix that little typo I did. Shame, but you can find it right there now. It's already uploaded there for you. And I just want to say thanks to Graphography because I think my photos were fun, somewhat topical, but at least they jazz up a presentation. So I have that little thank you in there for free stock photos. Any other questions or comments or anything? Will I not get penalized for keyword stuffing into content? See, that's the thing. It has to be topic-based and logical. So someone asked, sorry, I should read the question out loud because you probably may or may not be able to see it, but it says, will I get penalized from Google for keyword stuffing into web content? Yes, if it's not about the topic. Yes, if you just have a landing page filled with these words. But if it understands how people read. It actually has an extensive algorithm. There is actually 200, if you Google for HubSpot, 200 SEO ranking factors infographic. It's fantastic. They update it regularly too. It's overwhelming if it's your first time getting into SEO, but it talks about things like that. But Google understands long form content. It prefers pages to have more information, and especially blogs to have more information. It understands original, unique content. So that also means don't just put the same phrase or same sentences across, like this is for change management and employee engagement. No, you've got to get creative in how you write, but you can add those words throughout the different text and where it's logical. So you don't need to, for a page of 500 words, I would say for the main keyword, I would have in the URL, I would have in the title, I would definitely have in the meta tags and the meta description. And then I would have it maybe 3 times top in the article. Also because like when we were talking about the Scrum and Agile methodology, then you hit different topics about it. And in your discussion and your writing, you can weave together different themes that are related, because as we saw on the Google Keyword Planner, it understands which words are related. So you're not just filling it with one word, but you're bringing related words together. So I hope that answers your question. Does anyone else have any questions? We have a couple minutes left. Well, we have a couple minutes left, so I'm just gonna wait here and see if there's any other questions you have, because we have 3 minutes left, so I don't know if we'll cut this off the video or anything, but in case any more questions, comments, concerns, opinions. But yeah, this is a good way to make a living, but also for Google to find you. So that's great. But also it gets into an overarching branding strategy overall. I had a client that it didn't work out with because they were beacons, which are little Bluetooth things that if you walk by something in a store, it triggers something to pop up on your phone. It was a really cool technology. But they were super obsessed with the term proximity marketing. No one's ever heard of proximity marketing. So yeah, it makes sense. That's technically what they were, but no one's searching for it. So you had to put things like proximity marketing is a kind of guerrilla marketing or creative advertising or whatever those terms were, because people weren't searching for proximity marketing yet. Yes, it's something that in the next couple of years, because it involves Internet of Things, might become useful. So yes, you want at least one landing page on your website that's proximity marketing, because that is the technical term. But then if people aren't searching for that now, you got to go for something else for that. I'm just marking as answered because, oh no, I think I marked someone else's as answered. So if you have one, please add that back. I apologize. I may have removed someone. So that was my bad, and I apologize. Maybe not, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm clearly not that technical, but I consider myself a translator from the tech people into the every person like me. So my ability to write in plain English and my ability to specifically write for Google, but in a way that doesn't sound like a machine. Because when it comes down to it, yes, you might not get penalized by Google, but if it's crap writing, you'll get penalized because nobody will convert on your website. So you need to make sure you present it in a way that's engaging, exciting. Use a lot of you whenever possible. Never use obnoxious language like one doesn't just like that, or things like that, or however, or semicolons, things like that. If you want your website to be very engaging, use engaging content. You put it in an engaging and beautiful to look at format, and really easy to consume. So the keyword stuffing comes more from the risk now is if you do it in a way that your clients or potential clients won't like it. So we're winding down now. I want to thank you guys so much for coming. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can tweet anything you want from this. If you want to share screens, if you have any more questions, you can tweet to me and ask me any questions. I hope you have a great morning if you're in the US and a great afternoon otherwise. Thank you. Bye-bye.